Hi, everybody. This is Rhoda from Cigar City Tarot coming to you on day 13 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. Today, we're going to take a look at tarot decks that I want to work more with in 2022. And I have three of them. I actually have a lot more, but these are the three that I started working with them last year. I either started journaling with them, was trying to spend at least a month with each one, have used them, like I used this in my Halloween Tarot and Tall Tales party. And so we'll go through each one and then we'll talk about why. So let's talk about this one. I'll move these over here. I bought this particular series of decks. And again, this is a two set. This is, I'll talk about the Oracle in this one. So it's not one I'm, going to talk about in another day challenge. But this is a set of, this is my double, and you'll see, I know it's crazy. I love the material. So the material is very 1950s, very pinup girl. So yeah, I bought this deck last year early on for, oh gosh, probably the end of 2020, to start doing love readings for, like, this was specifically for not Halloween, Valentine's Day and bachelorette parties rather, and parties where people wanted, people wanted love readings and, and to talk about, oh, does my boyfriend love me and that type of thing. So I bought the Pinup Girl Tarot. I love this. I have this thing about pinup girls. I love the 1950s. And so this deck, I worked with it a little bit because it came probably in December-ish timeframe of 2020. And then it seemed like so much happened in 2021, that first couple of months, that I really didn't get to do, nobody was getting together and whatnot. So I really couldn't do any love readings in person or any Valentine's Day, but I love this deck. And I also got, and I'll talk about this just briefly, the Oracle deck. Yes, it's in silk, and it's a silk scarf from my dear Aunt Dot, who passed away several years ago. It is the, and it's got little hearts on the background. It's in a pink bag, and it came with a rose quartz, so I used that in there. But this is the Pinup Girl Oracle, and so I thought it went so well with this, that even though it's different, they're different authors, different, whatever, but it was so cute. So anyway, this is not an Oracle deck that I believe tomorrow's challenge is to talk about Oracle decks that I want to work with more in 2022. This is not one. I do have several other ones. This is more of a novelty, and I keep it in the, I got material specialty from Spoonflower that dealt with pinup girls, and it came with this cool rose quartz, which I made a matching little, bag holder for it. Okay, so let's put this out of the way and talk a little bit about this particular deck and why. So it's interesting. It has nothing to do with Rider-Waite, right? It has nothing to do with the imagery and whatnot. It does keep up with it does have some things. So the reason I want to work with it is because it's more about intuition. And again, I'm not seeing this, I'm going to be using this in any other way than to talk about, let me go ahead and bring the camera in just a tad more. In any other way than to talk with people who want a love reading, right? A novelty reading. They'll want to talk a little bit about boyfriends, girlfriends, and whatnot. But if you take a look at the sun, so she's in yellow, reminds me of the sun. She's a blonde bombshell and whatnot. Doesn't mean, and she's holding roses in her hand. She's not a baby. She's not brand new. So it's really just trying to work with the deck to understand the imagery here, and knowing that this deck is probably going to be best used from an intuitive standpoint, whether or not I'll be able to do it, and not wanting to rely on any other definitions, right? So same thing with the Five of Wands in the Rider-Waite. deck, if you take a look at this, you know, this girl is fairly voluptuous. No, that's a half demi bra, so it's not risque. It's not like that. I have another deck that's called the Decameron Tarot, and that thing is crazy, right? It's very suggestive, very nude. But the Five of Wands in the Rider-Waite Smith styles of decks is all about conflict, strife, you know, 5 men. Now in this way, you know, she looks like she's pretty happy, and you know, and she's talking on the phone. You know, what does this have to do with it? So I want to work more with it to see if I can get any symbolism. I just think it's a really cute deck. It may be one that I end up, you know, gifting out of my collection, but I want to work with it before I make any determinations, and really do some readings with it to see if I can get any type of intuition out of it. Here's the High Priestess. I love it. She's in looks like she is, you know, I don't know, a harem girl or a gypsy girl, but it's in a party background. So she's not really reflective or all about her intuition. Yeah, so anyway, but it's just hilarious. To me, this would be more the Strength card, right? She's sitting on her bear rug, but it's the Knight of Swords. Let me see if I can find the Strength card. Watch, it'll be at the very end. But if I take a look at, now this one is very similar. Justice, and it says vote, you know, like she's from the 19, and you have the symbolism of the Democratic and Republican parties on there. I don't know how justice that is, because given today's political atmosphere, I don't think any side is really being that fair. So it just is kind of crazy. Oh, the Seven of Swords. That's typically the guy who's sneaking away with 5 swords and leaves 2. She looks like the Coppertone baby all grown up. And as a matter of fact, her bathing suit might be from when she was a baby, and she needs to get a bigger one. Let's see, as I go through here, you'll probably see me. So anyway, this is more about understanding. I like the Tower though. You know, what is she in? This looks like she's fallen into a bubble bath or whatnot. But anyway, this is more about whether or not these cards bring forth any intuition based on what people are asking about. Again, this is more novelty than it is, in my opinion, than true tarot. Next deck, talked about this in an earlier version. I want to work more with the Santa Muerte. It has so much imagery in it. It has so much. We'll talk about the Two of Cups briefly. You know, to me, this says so much more about love. You know, she's touching his heart. His love is spilling over to her. Their eye sockets are, you know, eyes. It reminds me of the old, was it Art Garfunkel? No, Paul Simon song, I Only Have Eyes for You. Anyway, I want to work more with this deck and understand. It's very Rider-Waite Smith. It's based on that style. Obviously, it's the skeletons and the Santa Muerte, Day of the Dead. Look at the Two of Pentacles. You know, the Two of Pentacles is usually the guy juggling, but this one is like, to me, it's the same, 2 sides of the same person, right? So when you put their heads together, it equals 1 in that full butterfly. You know, but so this is what, this is the 5 of Cups. And you just take a look at that, you know, look at the labyrinth up there, you know, it just is interesting. I don't know, kind of crazy. Anyway, so this is the Knight of Wands. And so we see the skeleton of the horse and not much going on in the background. But look, he's going through a briar patch and whatnot. So I want to work with this more to see the kind of symbolism and whatnot, you know, and what it can speak to me, you know, outside of Halloween. I think it has deeper meanings. I interviewed this deck, and it's a bit sassy, can be a bit dark, but I think that it will be interesting to read through it as I get to know it better. So And the last one, but not least, like I said, I picked out the three that, I had purchased either late in 2020 or early in 2021 and ended up putting them on the shelf. This is the Shadowscapes. I worked with it for a little bit, but I was just getting into refreshing my self. And it was a bit different, right? And so I love the artwork. Put this down here so you can see it if you haven't seen the Shadowscapes. It's all about fairies and just very flowy and whimsical, but not, and very symbolic, like this is the Knight of Cups, as he's moving up, he's going to reach his prize and whatnot. But I want to work more with it because I got a lot out of it when I did it. Again, I think I got at the end of 2020-ish. Yeah, maybe. As I looked through the book has it's a very large book. It talks about, the realms and some of the background and what this artist and author were thinking. So it was hard to, even though it is based on the writer Waite Smith concepts and whatnot, construct, I suppose is a better word. It does have a little bit more. And so it's interesting to read the perspective of each of these cards from that of the author. So I do want to work with that more in 2022. Hi, everybody. It's Rhoda from Cigar City Tarot. I'm adding this little blurb at the end of my day 13 for the tarot decks that I want to work with more. I totally forgot to put this for day 1. What tarot goodies did the holidays bring? I have to show you this. It is just so fun. I found, now here are my hands. Here's my business card. Oh, look, this deck, it's the tiny tarot. It's a full Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck in a box, and it has a ball chain. So I think I used to travel quite a bit before COVID. Now I don't travel as much, and I'm just as happy staying home and not doing that. Zoom works just fine for me. But when I was traveling all the time and before I got into tarot, I crochet. So I take my crochet with me in a little plastic baggie and shove it into my backpack, whatnot. And I crochet on the plane, or I'd read, and then I'd get to my hotel room, and in between meetings and stuff, I'd crochet. But now that I'm, practicing tarot again and honing my skills again, I found this. I bought one for a friend of mine for her birthday gift, but this is not that I want to work with it anymore in 2022, but it is, whoa, the tiny universal Waite. I don't know if you can see that, if it's going to show. Oh gosh, it's not going to show. Anyway, I think it's just such a novelty. You can shuffle with them. It's got a little mini, it's like I could put this in a Barbie, or maybe a bigger size than a Barbie, like a dollhouse. It even gives you a spread, right? So anyway, I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. It's called the Tiny Universal. And let me see, I can't even read this without my glasses, but look, here's the King of Swords. You see him? Let me see before I lose focus. It's the King of Swords. Anyway, I can show you that you kind of can. Oh, maybe I should have put him. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it is all 78 cards. And I can pretend like I'm shuffling. Look, I've shuffled it and they've gone all crazy on me. So anyway, there is a deck that I won't be working with in 2022, but I could if I wanted to, right? And it all fits in here. Uh-oh, now it won't. Anyway, I just am going to add that to the end of that day. All right, bye. Enjoy. So those are my 3 decks, and I hope to see you in day 14, where we'll be looking at Oracle decks. If you're following along and you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to leave comments and I will respond back. Also subscribe if you haven't yet. And again, remember, if you want to see what other readers are doing, hashtag 31 days of tarot, all one word, and enjoy. We will see you on day 14.